In this episode, we're tackling the trailer tongue, and I'll show you how to go from this to this. Welcome back to this ongoing series on the renovation of my 1949 Spartan Manor camper trailer. So when I was doing the rest of the chassis renovation, for some reason I just ignored the trailer tongue, so now I'm finally getting to it. As a first step, I'm just going around with a wire wheel and taking off all the surface rust I can reach. That is going to go. I put on a cutoff disc, and now I'm going to get rid of this gas bottle holder. Actually, now I'm using a grinding disc to get rid of the welds from the top here. The rust is thick here, so I'm still using the grinding disc. I'm very glad I took off that gas holder because you can see how rusty it was underneath. And I believe it's that hole that's allowed it to rust in here to make that, which isn't a great sign. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to put a doubler plate. Now I'm just removing these towing brackets so I can clean underneath them. I picked up these pieces of 5" by 3" by 1/4" thick angle iron today so that I can reinforce that. The idea is to put them down like this, and I think I'm going to put a bit of an angle here. Let me draw a 45 and see what it looks like. No, that looks pretty good there. Usually when I make long cuts in metal, I first like to trace out the line that I'm going to follow. I want this leg of the angle iron to stick out a 1/4" from the face of this so that I can weld it really well along there. And to get that spacing, I'm just going to hold this here against it and put it on the line up here. That should give me that spacing. Make sure your helmet's on the welding mode. Now I'm just tacking this first piece of angle into position, front and back. The last time we'll see this hole. 3 1/8. 3 1/8. Time for a welding montage. Oop, never mind. Oof. Oh. I blew the breaker. Figured it was only a matter of time. There we go. I'm using this welder at 120 volts, and unfortunately I only have a 15 amp circuit for it, so I really can't run it too long before it trips like this. What's helped is if I only do one rod at a time and take a break, and that coincides actually with the duty cycle of this welder, which is 40%, which means you can only use it 4 minutes and then you have to let it rest 6 minutes. What? This can't look like. So slowly but surely, one rod at a time with breaks in between, I was able to finish up the welding and fill in the holes up top. This is what happens when you don't manage to prime before it rains. After a quick pass with the wire wheel, I was able to move on to painting. This part with more moving bits, I'm going to try this thinner one coat spray paint rather than putting primer and paint on there. That's going to be a lot thicker. That paint makes for some quick results. That looks so good. But I'm going to paint the rest of it with the primer. There's something so satisfying about getting this metal painted. And for the top coat, the aluminum colored enamel that I used on the bumper and the wheel hubs. While I really like this aluminum enamel, I think the spray paint actually looks more like aluminum. So in the future I might do a top coat on this with that spray paint. And instead of gas bottles, I might store something else up here like folding chairs. I'm not sure yet. And just to see how far we've come, we started like this and ended up with this. This was a pretty small project and only came in at about $42 and took about 5 hours. Thanks for watching and see you next time.